People, thank you all very much for tuning in. It's Beer Monster O'Clock. And I've been to Home Bargains again. Well, I haven't actually, because I picked it up yesterday when I picked up the other one. It's another one of their craft beer, Christmas sort of themed beers. Yesterday's one was absolutely dreadful. I gave it a 0.5 out of 10. And that was truly, truly horrible. And it went down the sink. It's not very often I have to do that. I hate wasting beer. But sometimes it's got to be done, innit? Let's hope this one's better, because it's by the same brewery, Glen cannich brewery. You've got Father Christmas on the front there, who's only got half a head, which I find a bit strange. And he's got a beer, at least he's got a beer. Sort of cheer him up a bit for only having half a head, I suppose. This one is called Christmas Spice Red Ale, as you can see on the bottom there. It's 4.5% ABV. This particular beverage costs £1.49. So it is only cheap. I don't expect it to be amazing, but it's got to be like drinkable, half decent, no matter how cheap it is. Well, that one yesterday was just an absolute joke of a beer. And I really, really hope this one's better. But in general, I think Glen cannich are pretty shit, to be honest. Every now and again you get a somewhat okay one, but they're cheap, but they taste cheap. 440ml can, this one. Let's crack it open and see what it's all about. Let me know if you've tried this one, guys, and what did you think of it. And yeah, the other new beer, as I say, I reviewed yesterday. They have a new beer at Home Bargain, so if you want to know what that one's like, check it out. But I've gave you a bit of a spoiler already. But if you like watching me suffer, check it out. There we go. Beer in the glass. It's kind of a chestnut brown kind of colour. It's got a bit of an orange tinge in it. It's got a small, tanned head. Carbonation wise, quite gentle levels of carbonation, which is fine. It's an ale. Let's get the nose in there and check out the aroma of this Glen cannich Christmas Spice Red Ale. Yeah, it definitely smells spicy, that's for sure. Very spicy. It's like almost sort of making you want to sneeze, sort of spicy, perhaps overly spicy. Bit of cinnamon, kind of like a overly spiced Christmas cake aroma to it. Somebody's, instead of putting alcohol in the Christmas cake, they've just put loads of cinnamon and clove and all that in there. It don't smell too bad. It smells a little bit better than yesterday's one, I think. Just very, very peppery, very, very spicy, and not a lot else. It's just so powerful, that spice. It's just taking away the ability to smell anything else, I think. So I'm not really getting a lot else, but hopefully it tastes alright. Let's chuck her down the neck and see what she's all about, shall we? Cheers, everybody. Bosh. Okay. It's better than yesterday's one, but as you can probably tell, I'm not exactly overly excited or anything. It's a cheap beer, cheap craft beer. It tastes like a cheap craft beer again, but it's not. It doesn't taste like flat cheap Coke like yesterday's one. This one's still really thin. The body on it is so thin to the point where it's just ruins the beer before it even gets started. Do you know what I mean? Just straight away you've got that watery, thin, super thin body, and it immediately gives off such a bad impression, but it doesn't taste as bad as the mouthfeel, at least. But it's very simple. That's my first impressions anyway. Very simple. That body is off-putting though. Just when you get off to such a bad start like that, there's not a lot going on here. There's no depth really to the taste of it. It does sort of taste somewhat Christmassy though, which I quite like about it. There are some positives to this one, just not many. It's got no real complexity to it. It really hasn't. tiniest sort of bit of malt, barely like recognisable. There's hardly any hops or anything to it. There's a few flavours in it that are okay, but they're just so watered down. Right, again, you're getting the cinnamon and the clovey spice, much like the stout yesterday. And not a lot else. But this one's also got like a citrusy vibe to it as well. Again, very slight, like an orange peel, sort of orange zesty sort of ness towards it on the end. Giving it a slight bitterness, I suppose. Main thing though for me is the spice, peppery, clovey spice with a touch of cinnamon. It's just a bit crap, underwhelming, and sometimes you do just get what you pay for, don't you? And Glen Cannich, I think they're pretty bad. And somebody said like they tried the one I had yesterday, and they said like they're giving Home Bargains a bad reputation, which I have to agree with, because you do actually go in Home Bargains and you do pick up the odd beer for this kind of price, and it's absolutely fantastic, especially some of the American stuff that I've added this year. Really have come across some absolute bargains in Home Bargains. And this just ain't. The Glen Cannich stuff for me just isn't, especially the Halloween ones. The Halloween one I thought was rubbish, and these two Christmas ones, I would say avoid them. It's just, there's just nothing else to really say. It's just so boring. There's just no flavours going on. You can't really review a beer when there's not a lot to review. Try again. I feel like I've said all there is to say, so I'm just going to leave it there, guys. Smash the like button if you enjoyed this review, and do let me know what you think of these Glen Cannich Christmas beers in Home Bargains if you've tried them. If you're unfortunate like me and you thought, let's pick them up, getting the Christmas spirit. It's better than the last one, but it's still an awful beer. The best thing about these two beers is probably the can, to be honest. But this one, I'm actually going to finish this one. It ain't going to get a 0.5 like yesterday's. I'll go for... It's still going to be bad. 3 out of 10. I just think it's rubbish. There's no depth, no like complexity to it. It's just crap. It really is. Just don't bother. It's not even worth the cheap price. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Smash the like button if you made it this far. Consider subscribing to the channel. And if you've already subscribed, thank you very much. And till next one, guys. Bye-bye, darlings.